What's up, people? You have found the KO Report, and I'm Scott Killian. And today we're doing the highly anticipated follow-up for the Cuisinart Twin Oaks Grill, half pellet, half gas. First of all, I really wanted to do this video much quicker than I have. It's been almost 3 weeks since I did the video, my first video on the grill, which has received over 1,700 views and several comments. Thank you for that. 2 reasons why I haven't done a follow-up prior to now. One, it's been doggone cold, like snowing in May cold. We're not used to that in this part of North Carolina. And I like to grill, but I don't like it that much. The second part is I've been actually waiting on some parts to come. I did have a problem out of the box. A little discouraging, a little disheartening, but with some customer support and some things worked on together, I believe we should be okay. I wanted to cover a couple of things with you that you may encounter, not with just this grill, but any grill that you may buy. In the first video, I mentioned I had some New York strips to put on the grill that day. I wasn't able to do it. The gas side was working, the pellet side was not. I'll plug into my GCF outlet and it was popping the safety there every 10 to 15 seconds. So I contact Cuisinart. First thing I did was call this toll-free number, and it was no help at all. There's no one there. I was number 1 in the queue. It said I could leave a message. I left a message. No one got back in touch with me for a day or two. Then it kind of hit me that, hey, they may not be in the office. I'm not in my office. So that led me to email them here. And a lady named Phyllis contacted me back fairly promptly. That day she got back in touch with me, apologized for the issue I was having as I explained to her what was going on. And she said that it sounded like I may need a new controller and would send me one. So the next day I was doing some research on it and found a YouTube video where a gentleman said that 85 to 90% of all problems with pellet grills are typically in what he called the hot rod or fire rod. I think he called it a hot rod. But it's the heating element that is in the fire pot that actually sets the pellets to get them to get hot enough to start smoking, and then eventually have a fire in there, you know, if it does flare up. But I contacted Phyllis back on this the next day. She didn't reply, and then later that night I was a little upset, and then she did reply to me the next day saying that she had missed work the previous day for being sick, but if I wanted a new fire rod she would be glad to send me one. I said, yes, please, because if this doesn't work, I got to wait on this, and I really didn't want to wait on it. And I asked on each of these, can you ship them overnight? Currently, they couldn't do that, and I did find out with her that there is no one in the office with the COVID-19 breakout. Everyone's kind of working from a home office. So she did ship me this, and another surprise goodie. On my initial email to them with it not working, I'd commented on a part of the grill that was damaged, and I did it in the first video as well. But it was on the chrome cover here where the dials are, and it was this place right here. This had happened because the regulator from the gas side of the grill had kind of moved over into this area, and in shipping it had rubbed it, dented it, and cosmetic. It did nothing to the performance of the grill, but $600, you're like, hey, I'd like for this thing to be new. It took 8 screws and a zip tie to replace this. There's a set screw that held it in place. This was super easy. You could have that done in 10 to 15 minutes. This part, 4 screws held it in the corners, and then it was plug and play on the back, and literally you could have that done in another 10 to 15 minutes. The chrome piece, however, you had to take the sides off, the side burner, the knobs, which caused the gas line to kind of collapse. I wanted to hold it up out of the way while I put the new one on. it was a bit more aggravating, and hopefully you wouldn't have to run into that situation if you have something mechanically or electrically malfunctioning with your grill. That took about an hour. So with both of these and that, it was about an hour and a half. Here we are back outside. The grill looks fantastic. I love the appeal of the grill. When it's setting up somewhere, I like the lines, the cut. It's just classy and clean looking. We're back out here. I've got everything situated. I'll go over a couple of things here that I found as I was trying to get all the pieces situated. And here was 4 screws I had to take off. And then on the bottom side of this is where the fire rod was. So I took out this piece, slid it out of the way, took the end cover off and the bottom cover off, and it was one clip in there for the fire rod to be replaced. Back to here, like I said, it was just those 4 screws, plug and play on the rear, and then you can see the new face on it here, and we're ready to cook. On the initial setup, once I had it going, the owner's manual will say turn this over to 200 degrees. As you can see, the internal temperature on it now is 94. That's with the sun hitting a little bit on it. The igniter is on and the auger is on. I'll let this warm up to 200 degrees, and then I went ahead and turned it over to 400. And it took about 20-25 minutes to get to that temperature, and it stunk. I was burning off the new. On the gas side, I did the same thing. I flipped it open, and you can tell by looking at the heat deflectors. I ran it for a while as well, and the side burner, to get them up to temperature. And I ran those for about the same time, and it got up to around 500 degrees, burning off the new on it. So the next day I come out, and I'm wanting to make sure just everything's working, and my gas side didn't work. I had it up to 500 degrees that day and wanted to come back the next day to cook, which was just yesterday. I picked up some chicken and some beef, and I'm going to make skewers, which I made those last night. I'm going to cook those for dinner tonight, and we'll show you that in a little while. I also picked up some steaks to go on. That way we got a little something for everybody. I couldn't get the gas to fire up. When I would click on it, it would flame for just a moment and then filter out really quickly. I was frustrated, and I contacted Cuisinart again. Once again with Phyllis. I still had our email thread going. She recommended that I get a new hose with a regulator on it. I really didn't want to put no more time into this, because with the stuff that they had sent me, the time it took to put it together, I had a good 4 hours of my life invested in this grill and haven't cooked on it in 3 weeks. I was frustrated. In the meantime, I still do some research on the internet and find a way to reset the regulator that's on there now. I did that, and they lit back up, but it still wasn't at the full heating that it was. I left them lit up for about 10 to 15 minutes, never got above 200 degrees on the gas side. So I started trying to diagnose a little bit further. It's like, okay, I've got a steady flame now. Something else is causing a problem. I found this to be the problem. Once I removed it, everything was good. And so I took it off and went straight to the tank with the regulator, and it's working fine now. So later today, I'm going to have the kebabs on, probably the griddle side. I don't want the smoke flavor on those. Maybe good if I had a different pellet, but the pellet I'm using now is a charcoal taste versus a cherry or a maple or apple, bacon, something like that. So I want to do them on the griddle and experience that side of the grill, and I'm putting the steaks on the pellet side, and we're going to grill those. Real quick, you can see that this is heating up to 150 degrees now. This has just been over a couple of minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that back off. I want to show one other thing here while we're out here. As that is going off, let's clean out. If you raise this, pull this handle, it opens up the fire pot. Shove it back in place. Come around here and take out this is the ash that was burnt from the initial setup from where I had it going up to about 400 degrees. It does burn efficiently, and the pellets are cheaper overall than charcoal. All right, it's about time to start cooking. I had the grill coming on and warming up on the pellet side. I'm going to let it get just beyond the grill side there. I'm going to cook some filet mignon on that side. Then on this side, I have put in the skillet. I put some oil on it. So I have some skewers to go on it, and some corn on the cob will go on the rack. Someone had asked me the size of the iron skillet, if it'd fit on the burner or not. It takes up the full side of the gas side. So I'll have the meat out here in just a moment. We've got the gas side up to 400 degrees, just under 400, and that's on low. And I went ahead and buttered up some corn and got it wrapped up. I moved up to 350, it's on 350. So holding steady. We are coming together. Yes, sir. Those steaks are about ready to pull off. So as I got closer with the kebabs, I've pulled the beef off. They look fantastic. Chicken, hard to tell by appearance, so I put the temp probe in, and you can close the lid with the probes in, and I've got it plugged in probe 2, and my probe 2 temperature is 166. Chicken should be 165. It sounds like it's ready. Oh, the smell out here is amazing. We're getting close. I can't wait. And there's a finished look at the kebabs. I can't wait to dig into that. We have the steaks off, the skewers off, and the corn is looking nice and golden. And before we have dinner, I wanted to show you a finished project. Of course, the little one had to have some hot dogs, but we got some filet mignon, grilled corn, chicken skewers, beef kebabs, and hot dogs with baked beans coming and a puppy running in the shot. Hope you enjoy this as much as I did, and I hope I've made you hungry. Y'all take care. Final thoughts. Ugh. Jerry Springer flashbacks. To me, the skewers or the kebabs were perfect. They were crispy on the outside, tender and juicy on the inside. The vegetables taste delightful, and the steaks, well, for the people that were eating it, it was done to their texture. I would have liked them a little less. Overall, I'm going to have to give the grill still an okay. Had I not had any issues with it out of the box and all the time invested in it that I did, it would be a KO for sure. Given the circumstances of the world right now, they're slower than normal. There's no one at a call center. There's no overnight shipping, but they delivered what they said. We will get you a new fire rod. We will get you a new controller. And then they gave me the stainless steel piece. I didn't even ask for that. They gave it to me. I mentioned it, hoping that they would, and they did. So that was kind of neat. Honestly, I worked them for a free grill cover. With this particular grill being a Walmart exclusive, they didn't have access to the covers. So I did go by and pick one of those up. It was 45 bucks, but it's the only cover I've seen big enough to cover this grill because it's massive. It's every bit of 70 inches long. I used that with my how do you measure up. Yeah, so if you subscribe to my channel, you could watch the how do you measure up, because I did measure that with my Black Widow. Thank you for watching, sticking around this long, and I hope you have a great day.